Okay, good evening all and welcome to Live Your Life, a podcast where we explore how our identities, history, and lived experiences shape who we are. In this 2-episode series, we will be focusing on the often overlooked and untold connections between the Black and Latino community, such as resilience, history of struggle, and shared strengths across generation. And this first episode is very special to me because I'm joined by two of the strongest and hardworking women in my life. Honestly, my favorite, Tracy, and her best friend, also my second mom, Xochitl. Thank you guys for joining me.
Salud.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna do this in like 4 segments. They're gonna be maybe 2 to 3 minutes each. I'm just gonna ask you guys questions about, being mothers, being, strong, hardworking women, and, just kind of how that's a part of your identity, especially, you being a Black woman and a Latina woman as well. So this first question is kind of for both of you guys. You can answer however, and then I'll start asking more specific questions. So first, what was your childhood like, growing up in the community you were specifically, and when do you think you first kind of became aware of your race or identity in that community?
Okay, so my childhood, I grew up in Mexico City. So I was there until the age of 13. So being that I was in Mexico, I was raised with all Mexicans. So I didn't think anything of it until I actually came to the States. And that's when I realized that there was a difference between being Mexican in another country and being a minority. Because then it's when I had to learn the language. So I had to struggle through that, and I could see the difference between being a Latino, not speaking the language, and being in a country that I didn't necessarily fit in.
On to you, Mom.
I answered the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was great.
Yeah. So you ready? Okay. Well, I grew up in San Diego, and growing up in San Diego is a very diverse culture, a diverse mix of cultures. So specifically in the area that I grew up in, which was closer to the border of Mexico. So there was a large Hispanic community. There was a lot of military, which had a lot of Filipinos. There were a lot of Samoans, or like a handful of Black people, not as much, and then white people. So I grew up with a lot of different cultures, which I loved that. I was able to embrace and learn about all those cultures, which was great. I didn't really realize, and it could have been a combination of me just being older when I left San Diego, and also moving from San Diego to Orange County was a culture shock because there's a lack of diversity, especially in South Orange County. Especially
when you moved. Yeah,
I moved here in 1991.
Yeah,
and the most diversity in South Orange County came from the military bases that were here. So there were pockets of diversity because of that. But outside of that, I could go like a whole week and not see anybody that looked like me. So it was a big culture shock. And also entering corporate America was a big shock. I worked in corporate America in San Diego.
Oh, I have some questions for you about that, Trust, about like the work environment and navigating that. So
so the difference between working in corporate America in San Diego and here in Orange County was huge.
Yeah.
I was literally the only minority, period, in my law firms. But I would say that was where I really realized the difference between the cultures and how people really made a big difference between them, more so, here in Orange County.
Yeah, we can go, like, I was going to ask, like, how do you guys think in your, like, current careers or jobs or anything you've had, like, how do you think, I mean, especially being both women, you both are very strong, like, women, in, like, your jobs, how do you think it's not really we've had conversations how your race kind of affects how people perceive you guys, especially I think in the jobs that you're in. But yeah, like, what else do you guys think kind of, especially with your work, do you think that plays a role? You can go to Xochitl for that.
Me?
Yeah, so you can go talk. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for me, currently, since I work for the school district,
Yeah.
I feel that being that I'm an office manager, like prior to me becoming an office manager, I didn't really deal with a lot of feeling that because I'm Latina, people look at me a little bit differently. But because I am in the position of now being the office manager, when I have to deal with Caucasian women, but the whiteys, see, I was trying to use the proper word. It just is different. So when I try to give them directions or when I try to be the boss, they can push back because I feel that they shouldn't be taking directive from me.
Yeah.
I don't feel that from my boss, who also happens to be a Caucasian woman. She is very supportive of old culture, so I appreciate that about her. But I do see the difference between how different people still treat Latinas in the work environment, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Mom, you were talking about it a little bit. I think yours is a little similar, but I think you were working with men instead,
Yes.
I think. So,
yes, I worked with a lot of, all of my bosses have been men.
I mean, especially, older white men in law, especially.
Older white men, especially in the law firm. They were all. The first one, though, was an amazing, he is still.
I remember,
he's an amazing man.
Yeah, like, it's not all, it's just, it's more normalized than it's not. Like, that's like one boss you had out of what? You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, he was great. He took me, he was a mentor. He treated me like I was his daughter, honestly. And he gave me the 411 on how to navigate Orange County when I moved here. I was 22 when I started working for him.
Nearly my age.
Maybe it might have been 21. I don't know. And he straight up told me, he's a Jewish man from New York, very vocal. And he was like, people are going to try to test you. You're going to have to, let them know. He's like, you just, put them into their place. He's like, and if anybody ever comes in our office or calls our office and they don't speak to you with respect or treat you with respect, he's like, you tell them straight up, fuck off, and I will back you up. He's like, I don't care who they are, what position they have, what related to cases we have. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I'm not standing for it. So that at a very young age, and I was raised that way also anyway. I already was feisty anyway, so
yeah, but it's hard, in work, in your job you have to move different,
yeah, in this arena, because I was entering a new industry, and I was young and I was trying to work my way up, but him giving me that backing and giving me that support and letting me know before anything even had to happen, like, look, just put the kibosh on it. We're not tolerating any of it. I support you 100%. And he meant every single word of that. And I saw it in action. But honestly, I feel like because of that, and even the way that I was raised, I navigated all of corporate America. I would walk in the door with my head up high, and I just acted like I owned the place. Yeah. And that's just how it had to be.
I was going to say, that's a good foundation for you to have, like entering, that type of, because it's hard, like, if you started navigating and you don't know that, off the jump, it's hard for people, I think. So that's good that you had that from the jump. You didn't really have to, like, go through events to realize it, which a lot of people do have to go through things and then it hits them,
Right.
Yeah.
But I think too, it gave me, it helped me, in all of the going forward, because, I just went to larger and more firms and had more responsibility and dealt with even more.
Probably deal with worse people.
Yes. Yeah. And there was a lot of it too. There was a lot of sexism and there was a lot of inappropriateness.
I was gonna say, it's not even your race too. It's just like, you guys are women at the end of the day. Both. Yeah. There's so much against you already.
Yeah. But I wasn't afraid to speak up and let them know how I felt about what they were saying either. And so it was almost a point where I had to become this kind of a bitch to get my respect, and they didn't really mess with me.
I mean, as a woman, that's what you have to do.
They might have treated some other people certain ways, but they didn't mess with me. Yeah. Because I set the standard from day one that I was not going to tolerate it. And
and I mean, you do your work. I feel the same as Xochitl. Like, you guys produce results. It's not like you aren't good at your job. So it's like, at the end of the day, you know, it's only factors you can't control, your race and your gender, or why people don't like you. Like Xochitl said, like, these women, like, you're obviously their boss, you're ahead of them, you're giving them, you know, stuff for a reason, but, you know, they, like, at the end of the day...
I just experience a lot of passive-aggressive behavior.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's honestly
microaggressions,
it's probably.
It's just, you know, it's like, I need you to do this, and then they're like, oh, you know, if I have time, or like, you know, it's just that they don't.
And you know, they wouldn't do that to somebody else.
Whatever directive I give them, they kind of push back, and so it's just a lot of passive aggressive behavior. But luckily for me, you know, my boss, she does. When I go to her and I tell her, hey, you know, these are the issues I'm having with these people, she will back me up, and so that's good. That's fortunate. So in that sense, I don't struggle with that at all, but I do struggle, not necessarily struggle, because it's
just something you notice, though, and you shouldn't notice it. Yeah, it shouldn't be something you notice.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah. It's something, because it's like, if that was something you guys did, it would obviously be brought up. But, you know.
Oh, yeah, we'd be the angry, mean black woman.
It's the double standard. Woman. Like, you know, you have to work 10 times harder to get the same result, you know, the same reaction.
If we're too direct in the workplace with our direction,
correct,
then it's a problem too. It's like, no, when we're in a busy environment, you don't have time to handhold and be like, oh, Susan, oh my God, you're so amazing. Can you do your job today?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's like, no one has time. It's like, Susan, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and it's due this day. In the story, they can't handle that. But it's like, we don't have time. Like, they're not children. You're at work. Do your job.
Yeah, you know? I've been told that I was
too direct.
I think that's interesting that you guys both deal with that, because it's like, there's the, like, angry black woman stereotype, but it's always, like, the angry brown people. Like, it's always,
because you don't want to
like,
sit around for 20 minutes and ask them how their weekend was.
It's so interesting, because anybody else would be seen as doing their job, which I think is interesting. And I kind of want to, like, lead that into, like, how you guys are mothers, because, like, I mean, you guys are both one of you birthed me, but you guys are both mother figures, both mother figures to me.
I birthed you.
But I mean, I don't know, we've had conversations like this. Like, I don't really think, I don't want to say generational trauma, but I don't think that we, like, you guys have trickled. Like, I think you've done a good job with, like, especially where we grew up. You know, we grew up in a predominantly white area, and
affluent white area.
Yeah, and I just, like, how do you think that the struggles that you guys went through kind of shaped how you raised, like, us?
Well, for me, honestly and truthfully, like, I didn't raise the kids thinking that they were any different than anyone else, you know, because to me, I don't see me as different as anyone else. So I wasn't about to let them feel like, you know, there's somebody that's superior to them because of who they are or what they look. What I tried to raise them is just knowing that if somebody steps out of line, that they need to speak up and they need to let it be known that that's not okay. You know, I mean, I have a son, so obviously with Devin, I needed to make sure that he understood, you know, that certain things as a boy, being a Latin boy, that he just can't do because, you know, things can happen.
Yeah.
And with the girls, I guess I grew up the same way. My parents didn't really talk a lot about race. I just didn't grow up in a house where race was something that it was always brought up.
Yeah.
So I just didn't do that, but I just feel that I still made them aware of things that can happen without always making it like always about race. Because for me, it's like some people, of course, that you deal with, they are who they are and they can be racist. But then there's also the other side where there's a lot of wonderful people that, you know, are not the same color as I am. So I just try to have my children look at everybody with open eyes until they prove otherwise. That's my take on it.
Mother.
Well, mine is a little different because we are black, so it is a little different. And I wasn't raised talking about race a lot either. even though both of my parents lived and grew up in the South, and my mother specifically Alabama,
we know.
Next
episode we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, just by saying that, I would say they did a really good job of raising us to be well-rounded people and very diverse culture people, even from where they came from. So I respected how they raised us. I loved, like I said, the cultural diversity that I had in my life. So I tried to give that to you as well. Even living here, I tried as much to give you that. Make sure that you knew about your culture more than anything, and we're proud of your culture, even though it's not the predominant what you see here. And also, I think having an awareness and making sure that your minority children are aware of what goes on in the world. It's not to say that you have to make it a negative, but it's definitely something that needs to be that they need to be aware of. That you are. I would never say no. No one is ever superior to you. That is not at all what I would teach or how I raised you. But I did try to instill, letting you know though that you are looked at under a different lens than other races when it comes to your work ethic, your anything that you do. You will be compared differently. And so in my mind, you have to be 10 times better in order to just get what they get just for breathing and waking up and walking in the door. Yeah. So that is what I wanted to prepare you for, is that anything that you do, you have to be better. And just to be able to get your spots. And other races may not understand that, but it is what it is. And like I had to do that in all of my work. I had to be better than everybody else. Always. Yeah.
I think you guys both see. Yeah, you guys both see it though. I mean, like you're talking about. Like, I mean, even if you guys probably are doing the best in your jobs, and they still it's still something, they undermine you or don't. They don't think that you should be. It's just it doesn't matter.
There's still people in the world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That don't think certain people need to be where they are.
Yeah.
So that's
I think it's like a mix of being aware, but also like. Yeah, like what Xochitl said, I mean, like, everyone, I mean, it's hard right now, but, like, everyone doesn't think like that,
Absolutely
and it's,
not.
But it's hard, but, I think being aware of it, though, makes it easier to, like, be open with people, because you're able to tell who truly,
Well, it's just keeping your eyes open, because if you walk through the world
without
if I
knowing,
let you have blinders on, and you had no idea, then
you're doing a disservice to yourself and others.
I would have been doing a disservice to you, and you saw it even just in sports. You went through it so many times.
Yeah, it's in every aspect of life. Like, I'm not, like, I don't walk around...
If I didn't prepare you for those things... It would have been that much harder, I feel.
Yeah, no,
for you to learn those lessons without ever having, like,
even knowing, I agree.
And I think that's really what my parents did with us too. They just didn't want us to have blinders on.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't really go through any of that growing up. And I think part of it is because we had so many different cultures around.
Yeah, but also I think if you're aware of it, you won't put yourself in certain situations to be, I don't want to say a victim to it, but be like susceptible, you know what I mean, to things, because you're aware and you can realize, like, I don't think this is a safe space for someone that looks like me, and I think that, like, living where we, living in OC, I think we've realized, places where we don't go to certain places, because it's like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable for no reason. It's, I think that's what it comes down to, is just being aware, and, like, I'm not going to change the way I live, but, I'm just going to stay aware. Hopefully I can educate other people by being, like, educated myself, and hopefully people keep educating themselves, too, because I can't be walking around thinking everybody hates me. That can't be the life that we have,
Yeah. And it's not the case. It's not
everybody does, right? But, like, I'll give you an example for me. If I'm walking at the beach, like I used to go for walks down in, what is that? Strand, right? And you have, like, that walkway. And, there's people that when they see you coming, they kind of move. So you move, right? But then there's the others who think, like, well, I'm not moving. You're going to move. And then it's like, well, I'm not going to fucking move. So to me, it's more like I treat them the way they treat me.
Exactly.
Right? So if they treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect. So I'm not blind to people. I just I'm aware, but I'm not going to take everything.
Yeah. Some things are not worth a fight. Some things are not.
No.
Yeah.
And some of it I'm like, well, maybe it's not because I'm Mexican. Maybe you're just a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
That's just who you are. I mean, so
yeah.
I try to just,
some people are just miserable, like, period.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
So I just, I feel like I keep my mind open, but I look at people why they act the way they act. So, like, certain people at my job, I know they're racist. I hear how they talk. I know what they do. So I already know that those are their beliefs. Other people, no, they're just assholes.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me being Latina. It has to do with them just being assholes. But the ones that struggle with me, as far as me giving them directions, I know those specific women are racist. So I know they don't like it when I'm at a higher level than they are. But that's their problem.
Exactly.
Exactly. I think that is a great place to end it. I really appreciate both of you guys taking the time out of your busy days to take the time to talk with me about this. Oh my God.
You're welcome.